Well, you're doing.
Thank you for coming on the red carpet round table.
Well, thank you, Ryochi. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And of course, everyone wants to know what attracted you to begin your acting career in this crazy entertainment industry.
I've always, since I could talk, I wanted to be an actress. The moment I could talk, like from little, like fifth grade, sixth grade, I was always in drama class from fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and all the way through high school, college. Um, and I started doing it professionally back in my 20s. Then I met an AD, got married, had four kids, gave it up because I thought, oh, that ship has sailed, you know?
Right.
So dumb, like if I could go back, I wouldn't, if I knew then what I know today, I would never have let it go. But as soon as I filed for divorce, I was like, my kids are older. And I said, I'm getting back into my acting career again. That's all I've ever wanted to do. Life is too short. I'm getting older. I'm
Mhm.
like, this is all I've ever wanted to do. I'm going to do it.
Right.
I'm either going to be all in or all out, but I'm not going to do halfway, because I always had to work, in my 20s. So it
Well,
wasn't like
that's
solely an actress. Now it's like, that's it. That's all I do, you
mhm.
know?
That's true. If you're all in, you better go all in, right? Don't go halfway. Don't, you want to open the door in front of you and keep going. And
Yeah.
so, I want to touch this subject on this because you're a mother, and I know a lot of mothers, single parents or not, who are in this entertainment industry or already in the entertainment industry, and they are trying to understand when it's okay and the right opportunity to have their child in the entertainment industry because I if you're not an A actor, we'll get that one because a lot of parents who are actors like yourself are wondering, is my child ready for example, paparazzi or negative comments or auditions? Am I not good enough? So, as your advice as a mother, what would you tell any single parents or any parents out there that are wondering, should I put my daughter or should I put my son in this entertainment industry and get ready for all this auditions and peer pressures and, stay up late, going to school, homework, and then rushing to the auditions? What's your views?
I'm going to be honest with you. Okay. So again, I'm an actress. That's all I ever wanted to be, right? The person I married was an assistant director. So we did put our first one out of the four. We put our first one when he was 7 because he was so damn cute. He had the Michael J. Fox hair, so they always loved him. So he would book commercials, but and he did like a feature film, but every time, and he did it for 3 years, so 7 to 10. And then finally he said, Mom, I don't really want to do it. And I would always, after an audition, I would take him out, buy him ice cream or dinner or
Hmm.
what. But when he said to me, Mom, I don't really want to do this anymore at 10, I said, then you don't have to do it anymore. And I felt terrible because I felt like we put him in there because he knew people and he could get a manager. The manager got an agent. Like it was very quick when it happened. Um, but we never asked him.
Hmm.
It's like we just put this poor kid, and he was so good at memorizing. Like he would just, I would work with him and he would memorize it, and he would go in and he would charm the pants off of these casting directors, and he would always like book, but he didn't want to do it. But he didn't know how to tell us he didn't want to do it because we were like, oh my God, we're so proud of you. So poor
Hmm.
kid, after 3 years, finally said, Mom, I really don't want to do it anymore. And I said, you don't have to. You do not have to ever do it again. And I just
Hmm.
stopped.
Hmm.
So what I would say, because I learned from that and I didn't do that for my other children, even though my daughter wants to be, but I was like, you know what? When you're older, you decide on your own and you do it on your own, but I'm not going to do that again to another child. And I
Hmm.
feel
Hmm.
bad enough I did it to the first one, that poor kid. But I say, unless the child says to the mother, this is all I want. That's all I just want to be an actor. That's it. Then I would say, help them, right? But there is a lot of rejection and it's not easy on children. And that's why with my daughter, I decided to wait with hers just because
Hmm.
I from the first one. Now,
And
if me as a child, I would have loved if my parents, because that's all I wanted.
mhm,
I didn't have anyone to help me. I didn't have anyone in the business. I didn't know anybody. My parents didn't know anybody, So I would have wanted that as a child, or at least I think I would have. I don't know. But there is so much rejection in this industry that you have to stick with it and not give up.
mhm.
You can't give up because when you give up, you just give other people more opportunity
Right,
to
right.
take your roles.
And one thing I would say is you're right. Um, it doesn't matter what state we're living in because the entertainment industry as a community, we do support each other.
Mhm.
The audience don't want to forget that. But I think the main thing is that when you realize the auditions and people, I think a lot of young actors are trying to figure out why I didn't get that or what's going on, what's the missing. And you're also right. There are some who just love it. This is the only thing they see them doing. And you're right, just go for it. And I think that it's difficult to, I think, explain it unless you experienced it like your story, and I think that's the difficult boundary line or borderline, not boundary line, borderline. I think that a lot of parents are wondering because, what is the decision? What age is it right? Because they just don't know. They're like, okay, and like your son, but I think a lot of parents are wondering what the age time is or when is the opportunity.
I think if a child goes to the parent and says, "This is what I want to do. Can you help me?" It could be any age. They can try it and see if they like it.
Hmm.
But if the child doesn't ask for it, then I just don't recommend it because mine did not ask for it, and I felt like he was forced into it
Hmm.
without knowing he was being forced because he didn't voice it because he was too young to voice anything, you
Hmm.
know? So I say, unless the child says, "This is what I want, can you help me?" Then that's when I say, go for it. But if they don't, I say just wait until they're older, 16, 15, just when they're
Hmm.
older, you know?
That's a very good response and answer. I appreciate it. I'm pretty sure a lot of parents will love your answer as yourself, a mother of four kids in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And now there's such a topic out of all the roles that you played,
Mhm.
which one is your most favorite role and why?
Okay, the one I just finished doing for a pilot. And then there's one that's my second favorite, but this one I did for a pilot is my absolute favorite role. And I wanted it so bad, and I'm so happy I got it. And we filmed about 2 weeks ago. I hope it goes somewhere, but the character was very, the long claw nails, the hoop earrings. I played myself pretty much. She's the firecracker wife married to a hard-ass Italian man who's tough, and she's just like the easy mom, the chill mom. And she very much like, remember Sopranos?
Hmm.
She kind of reminds me of Sopranos, the blonde girl, the young, like with the nails and like that. So that's the character I played, and I love it. And I just think that I do that really well. It's just
And when
playing
is it coming out?
They will let me know.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're still work there. It's still in post right now, so they're
Hmm.
still working
And I
on it.
totally understand you can't talk much about it, so
Yeah.
no, I can't. I'm not gonna
I
force
think I
the
said
answer.
too much as it is, but oh my gosh, it was such a
Hmm.
great, like, that was my favorite one. That was my
So,
favorite.
what's your favorite genre, and what is your dream big role? That
Okay. Okay, I love comedy, but my dream would be to be in a feature film, a dramatic feature film, as lead, of course, but I had to stop telling myself like, um, I can't wait until I'm there. I can't wait until I get there. Like, it's going to happen someday. No. Now I say it's happening now. It's happening now.
yes.
It happened the day I said I'm getting back into my acting career again. So my thinking has changed. Like even
Hmm.
casting directors, I had to look at them differently because we put them on such a high pedestal, and they're just doing their job. They're just trying to find the best person for that role. It has nothing to do with your acting or the way you look. You're just not what they were looking for. Or maybe they see someone and they go, okay, that's the person. Like for this role that I got for that
Hmm.
pilot, the writer said to me that after they did casting, that they all looked at each other and said, "Did we just find our?" And then my name that's in the film. I think it's okay to say the name, but they said, "Did we just find our Serafina?" Like they just knew that it was going to be me, you know? Whereas I've auditioned for other things and I never hear back, or I'll get a call back and then never hear back, or I'll get a nice note that says, "Hey, we want a different direction." So it had nothing to do with me. They just went a different direction. So I had to learn that casting directors are human beings. They're just doing their job. And if someone catches their attention because it fits what they're looking for, or because sometimes they don't know what they're looking for until they see somebody, right? They don't even know what they're looking for. So until they see somebody. And then, so we can't take it as a rejection like we're
Hmm.
terrible, because that's not the case. Has nothing to do with that. It's just it wasn't right for what they
Right.
just saw someone else that would fit it better. That's all. It's one role. Like millions of people are auditioning for
Hmm.
this thing.
That's
So
true.
yeah, I just had to change my thinking. And so now I just
Hmm.
say it's happening now. It's
Hmm.
happening now.
And that's actually motivational that you're changing your thinking. And
Yeah.
and being in this entertainment industry, you have to change your thinking.
Mhm.
It's like you want to do this and then you want to do that. And you want to do this and do that. But in all reality, it all comes together.
Yes.
That's how I view it.
Don't give up. Never give
You
up.
know, that is the one thing about this entertainment industry I love. This is, you can say it's tough. It is. Trust me. It's not a competition between all of us. No. And it's not. It is, it's a tough entertainment industry. It is, you get up, you work hard, you go for it, you encourage yourself, and you don't stop. You just
It's
keep
long
going.
hours.
It's a long hours. You may be on set from 7 a.m. till the next day, 11 a.m.
Yeah.
It's just, but it's so amazing. It's long hours, it's long work. It's become a
That's why
family.
I say you have to love it to do this job, because I love it from beginning to end. I love it from the audition process. I love it from that. Like and I just signed with an agent, thank God. Like I think it was in September, October. So I just signed with an agent. So I'm grateful for that. But before that, I had to submit myself, right? But I wouldn't give up. Like I just kept doing it and doing it. And then they were taking the bite. I was getting these auditions. So I love it from that to the audition, to the callback, to the rejection or not rejection to the booking to getting up at 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning to get, myself to set. Let me tell you, when I'm on set, I could be there all hours of the night. I am sad when we wrap. I don't want to leave. If I could live on set, I would live on set because I love being there. I love being in front of the camera, That's what I love. Like, and I get sad when we wrap. Like, instead of like celebrating, I'm sad. There's some people who are tired. I'm just like, I can go all night, like, because this is what I love being here,
That's
So but
true.
you have to love the work and you have to
Hmm.
love it from beginning to end, not, oh, I'm just going to do a movie and I'm doing this to get famous and money. Because that's not what it is. I honestly, like, I don't, I don't care to be famous because I don't need paparazzi following me. I just want to do the work and work as an actor and pay my rent and support my children and myself by working as an actor. That's
Right.
all,
And that's one thing I just love the entertainment industry because we entertain people
Yeah.
and we tell people stories.
Yes. And
True
it's
story,
fun.
emotional story. And you have people in real life are thanking actors and saying, thank you for telling my family's story. And that's what it's about.
Right.
Tell people stories, motivational stories,
Yeah.
emotional stories, and then or
Even
also
yeah.
or also crime stories, you
Yes.
know, and
Even
and
comedies, let's make them laugh, like
right, a comedy.
anything. I just always I always put a little bit of myself and my past experiences into every role. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter, but in every role, just because it makes it more authentic. I take an acting class called Stop Fucking Acting. I hope it's okay to say that, but that's the name of it. But yeah, it's all about stop acting, just be real, be authentic, be
Hmm.
part of you in there so that you're being true to yourself. Unless it's like a true story, like a true story role, like then you have to do it exactly like that person. But
Right. That's so amazing. Um, for yourself, as an actress, a lot of people may be wondering, what do you do for fun when you're not acting?
I go to the gym. I I feel like I need to exercise because I can get depressed, talk about mental illness, but like depression, like I could get depressed if I don't. So I need to exercise because that's like, dopamine, right? So I do that for fun. I go out, I take my kids out for fun. I hang out with my friends for fun, you know. Um I don't drink anymore or do anything else anymore. But I have fun with by doing other things. I go
Hmm.
dancing, my friends and I will go dancing. I love dancing. I was a dancer as well. I did jazz. So I love to dance, and even if it's just to, go to a nightclub and my girlfriends or guy friends, they go too.
Well,
So
it's
I do a lot
amazing
of
because I think that we do need to get out and just let our mind relax. And then, it helps. I think also to go back to mental health is that we as human society, well, I want to say human society, but as all of us, we don't talk about mental health as much. And it's unfortunate. Um, and we need to talk about mental health because we don't know what anybody's going through and the stories they're going through.
That's all I say this all the time.
And I am a mental health advocate.
It's
So,
great.
and we are, and unfortunately, I love technology. We are now too glued on just texting our friends.
Mhm.
Hmm. And It's, what
Yeah,
happened with calling and checking up on them. It doesn't matter if you're married or not, you know, you still have time to
I
call
agree.
somebody
I agree.
and
I
check
prefer
on
a
them,
phone
right?
call.
And I think, no, it's not, I think. We live in a society, it's not like that anymore. We
Mhm.
are, you know, you have to check on a people, and that's very important to spend 30 minutes to see how they're doing,
I
right?
agree. That's when I call, when I call my son, he'll be like, "What's wrong? Like, why aren't you texting me?" I'm like, I just wanted to say hi. It's good.
It's important to have that to hear, and also the it helps the brain because it helps your feelings, it helps your mental health
True.
because that tells the person you care, right? And it can be a female friend or a guy friend. If you're married or you're single,
Doesn't matter, right?
female friend or staying with them as well.
And
If
I
you
have both
if
guys
you
and
know somebody
yeah.
who tells you, I do suffer depression, I'm
Mhm.
going through something, you know, doesn't matter how what your life is, just pick up the phone, call them
And check on them.
because the life does not involve around yourself, right? You have you have friends, but friends they know you're there. But if you know you don't, if you're not there anymore, then that's the problem.
Without
Right.
giving advice too. Like
Mm-hmm.
when
Right.
I have friends suffering, I'll say, because I did research on this and I have a psychology bachelor's degree, but I always just say I don't like giving advice. So I just say, I'm here, I care, and I'm your friend.
That's the answer we
Oh,
need to give. I'm here and everything. I care.
I
That's the
care.
answer. That is my advice I tell people.
And
Be
get
there.
out, like get out in the like sun and sorry, my dog's
No,
biting me.
you're okay.
My husky. Yeah, like my daughter, I was just telling her yesterday, I'm like, go somewhere. And she goes, I don't feel like, she goes to college, but she's like, oh, mom, I'm tired. I'm like, go to Trader Joe's, go pick up some things. I said, you will feel better if you're outside. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm inside the house. I have to be out or I get really, really down. I have to go outside. I have to be in that sun. Like, you know,
That's the
just
thing.
do
The sun.
something.
Yeah.
And then also when you were saying checking up on people, I always say that when I have a friend who calls or they're going through something, I tell them or complaining or blaming or whatever they're doing. I'll say, okay, stop. Call three other people right now and ask how they're doing and do not talk about yourself. Just call
Mm-hmm.
them because what that does is it gets you out of yourself. It gets you out of like me, thinking me. So and then they're checking up on someone else and then asking how they're doing, and then they forget about their own shit. And like you said, I say this all the time too. You never know what someone's going through. You not in anybody else's head but yours. So if I'm at the store and someone's rude to me, I try to turn it around. I am not rude back because I'm like, who knows what this person's going through? Who knows what happened 5 minutes ago to them? Or what happens at home that nobody else knows about, you know? So I try to turn around and I
100%.
I treat them with kindness, and then the response turns around and they're like, "Thank you," you know? And I
And
had
you
to teach
never know. And that's the one thing we just gotta learn.
react. We react,
Right.
right?
We have to talk about it. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Um, out of all, who, I had to rephrase the question in my brain. Sorry. Who motivated you in your life up to now?
My life,
Mm-hmm.
definitely my mom. My mom, she was a single mom. I was 7. My brother was 5 when my parents got divorced. And she was just so much fun. And I didn't know this, but we didn't have a lot of money. She wasn't making very much. She was working at a bank, I think it was like $7 an hour at the time, but we never felt it. We would go from apartment to apartment, you know, but I just thought it was because, but it didn't matter because I always felt like I was at home with my brother and my mom. She never ever made us feel like we didn't have enough. Never. And I used to say to her, oh, like if I asked her for something, she'd say, oh honey, I can't get that today, And I'll say, Mom, yes, you can. You have a lot of checks. I didn't know that you had to have money in your account. I just thought the more checks you had, the more you can write whatever you wanted, as a kid, But my mom definitely motivated me, and my mom was always positive, always. Like even I was terrified to get married. I was terrified. And I remember, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I remember her saying to me, honey, get married, have some kids. If it doesn't work out, there's always divorce. Like she never made me feel like I would ever be stuck. And I'm so grateful to that because, I was really like I had cold feet. I was like, what am I doing? But I'm glad I did because I have my 4 kids and but she was right. There's always divorce if it doesn't work out. And it was just funny. But she's a very funny woman, my mom.
Hmm.
Got the best personality. She's hilarious.
Well, that's amazing, because everybody who I've talked to, every guest I've talked to, have people who tell them who motivate them, their parents, their dad, their mom, their siblings, or they're strangers, or it's always their family members. It's so excuse me, powerful because if we don't have family support,
Yeah.
then where can we go? But also, it just tells the testimony how they hope to accomplish by making their parents proud and saying, Mom and Dad, here I am. I wanted to be this. I'm doing it. You pushed me this far. You made me be who I am. And I just want to, you tell your parents and say, I love you. I made it. I'm okay, but I'm here, right? But it all comes around. It's because of you.
Yeah. And I always felt like I could do anything the way she made me feel and my brother. Like nothing was off limits. Nothing. Like you can do and be whatever you want. But I was also one of the fortunate ones who had a mom like that because I have friends who didn't grow up that way, who didn't have family support or held them down or gave them that mind fuck. So a lot of people, I can't say the same thing for everybody because everyone goes through their own things, but I try to be a good mom to my children. Doesn't mean I was always a great mom because I'm sure I did a lot of selfish things, back in the day when I first had them because I didn't know what I was doing. Now I'm a better mom to them today. That's all I can strive for is to be a better version of myself today. So every day I try to be better.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. What is your upcoming projects?
So I have some auditions that I did once. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I'm just gonna, it's okay.
Well, if you
Um,
don't, if you don't have to say it, just
it's a Sharon Stone like
Mhm.
character that I just auditioned for. So I'm hoping to hear back from them. We'll see. And then I've got some other ones. I'm doing a podcast now that I started with. There was a short film I was in called Slut in Training. It was a comedy, not the other thing. And it was so fun. And we got into 10 different festivals, film fests. Austin Film Festival was one of them. It was the big one. I got Best Actress at Vegas Shorts for this role as Jackie. And we got Best Romantic Comedy at another festival. So it did really well, and people started asking us, like, when are you going to have a part two, you know? So the director, writer of the film came to me and the other actress, because we were both leads. She came to us and she said, what do you think of if the three of us start a podcast based on slut and training, like a spin-off? So we started that. We did our first four episodes last month, and then we're recording again on Wednesday and Thursday, doing another 5 episodes, to record. So we just started our Slut and Training podcast.
That's
And
amazing.
it's a comedy. It's very funny, we try to keep it light, but it's very funny.
And
It's
and
we're all different. So
where can people listen to that?
it's not out yet. We are going to launch it actually this month, probably the end of this month, and it'll be on Spotify, and it'll be Slut in Training podcast. But they can do, if they wanted to go on Instagram, to find us, it's Slut Film Pod. So
Okay.
they can go on there to find out about the podcast and the short film that it was based on. But it's very
Wow.
funny. And
Amazing.
there's
Everyone,
a blow
please
up
check it
doll.
out.
Yeah, yeah. There's a blow up doll in there. That's my boyfriend in the movie.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Everybody needs to check it out.
Yeah.
It's amazing to hear all the actors' stories like yourself who in this entertainment industry because it's like you said, um, it's tough. You know, the reason I keep bringing this up is because I want everyone to realize when they're listening to every interview I do with any actor, director, you know, actresses, so on, that being in the entertainment industry is really tough. Audience, I want to let you know it's tough. And it's not about being scared of doing it. It's not about, okay, I'm hearing this, I don't want to do it anymore. We are not telling you not to do it. We're telling you it's tough. Be prepared, but go for it. It's amazing to hear all the auditions that everyone has to do for. I know you can say that you
Yes.
may do 15 auditions and you're like, wow, I've done 15. I mean, I've done 14, I didn't get anything, and then finally on your 15th one, you get a role. So
Yeah. You
everybody,
get one perfect for you.
right. Now
Um,
my follow-up question, I'm sorry, and I
no,
know
please.
a lot of you have this question.
Okay.
Do you like doing it in person, like the old time before COVID, or do you like to do it on Zoom and recording it now?
I like all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I love all of it. I love the self-tape. I think it's brilliant. That way they can just, see what they want, right? So it's quicker. You don't have to drive anywhere. So that's good. Sometimes we have like my last one was a Zoom callback, and I was able to book that. But the film before that was in person, and I loved that. So it's like it's all good. It's all
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Well, the reason I ask you that is because I think because a lot of old traditional actors out there, but a lot of old traditionals, they like doing it in person because they can show their wow, my mind just went blank. Their first impression.
Right.
And on Zoom, they don't like it because it's on a computer and something like that.
I do agree with that. It's not as personal. I do prefer the in-person because you get to meet them. They get to know you a little bit. They could see you in person, your personality. I think the personality shines more in person. And you can relate to each other more. You can see if you like each other, So I do agree with that. But, with this day and age, it's kind of just, it's becoming the norm
Hmm.
now. And it
I
does
think
weed out. It makes it easier though, because then you can do a couple takes. You don't have to do the first terrible one. So it
I
might
think
be
you're
better.
right because I think a lot of young actors, for
Mhm.
example, if your daughter was in it, I think she would like it because um, it's like your own time. Like you
And
can
less
do it.
nervous.
You don't have if you don't have to fly to New York or fly to Arizona or go places. You can just do it on Zoom. And if you get it, you get it. And
Yeah.
that's why I was talking about in the very beginning is like auditions because it's tough. And and we're not telling everybody don't do it. We're not telling everybody don't try it. We're just telling everybody it's it's tough, but go for it. Be it.
Don't
Keep put your foot in there and just keep that passion. And I personally believe that you'll like it more because the auditions are a lot easier now because
I
it's
I
on
agree.
Zoom.
Not just that, Ryochi, not just that, but now it's so much easier with social media, Instagram. Back in my day, in my 20s, like I didn't have any of that. Do you know how hard it was to get an agent back then? Like you had to get a book to find the agents, a book, you know? Now it's like you go online, you see them, and you're like, click, 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 let me fill this form out, send an email. And I got lucky. Like I got lucky this time on Actors Access. I just put a link like to find looking for representation. So my rep found me through Actors Access. But what I recommend for anyone starting out new, acting classes first and foremost, because they will teach you not just to be a better actor and to stop effing acting, like to be good, but also they'll help you with Actors Access, your resume. They'll help you with auditions, like having the blue screen, having the light. They teach you everything. They teach you how to audition. Okay, like we'll do something on where they have us walk in and do an audition. And that's part of our training. They teach us. So, acting class number one, that is the most important thing. I know there's some like brilliant, brilliant actors who've never taken an acting class, but they don't have to. But for a new person, I say take acting classes because your acting teacher will know what to do, where to find reps. They'll know reps. They'll help you with auditions. They will look at your self-tape audition, say, you know what, try it this way. So that's the most important thing to me. And never give up. And don't do this for the money. Do this because you love it.
Amen.
Right?
Don't yeah, don't give up and keep going and you will never regret doing
It makes
anything.
it more rewarding because it's tough. It just makes it so much more rewarding, you know?
Mm-hmm. It
Like
is.
every day I enjoy it. Every day I enjoy just the whole thing, the whole
I
process.
I totally 100%. I appreciate you coming on. We discussed a lot and I can't wait for all the upcoming projects you have coming up and I definitely cannot wait to have you back on.
I would love that. You're great. You did
You
a
know,
good job.
what was that?
You did a great job. You should be a talk show host or something.
That's my dream.
See? You're amazing. You're good at it.
If somebody can get, I'm gonna say this, if somebody can get a hold of Ellen DeGeneres for me,
Say it.
just,
Call, call Riochi now. Because
yes,
it's Ellen, he loves you. You are
yes,
his hero,
I
right?
love her. And when she ended her show, I was crying.
Oh my gosh. I know, right?
It was so
Like,
devastating.
don't it? Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, I just love her.
I
And
love that she loves cats too. She had she had Taylor Swift on one time, and they had this whole cat thing, you know? Oh my God, it was so funny.
yeah,
So funny. I don't
cats.
think you can find it on YouTube, but it was hilarious.
Yes. Even though I'm a dog person, but I love cats too.
I have both. I have an all white husky and I have an all black cat,
Hmm.
Salem,
Wow.
Eris. And they love each other. They were like the cat, my cat will like lick his ears. And if he stops, then my dog will be like this, like at my neck. It's very cute. Love them.
Let's go. They're not fighting.
Once in a while, my dog will get like feisty, you know, but that's just because he wants attention from the cat. He just wants to play. He thinks he's playing. That's all he has is his mouth and his paws. I
Hmm.
mean, they play. But yeah, he doesn't hurt him though. He doesn't bite
That's
him.
good.
He'll be like, but he won't bite him.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you again for coming
Yeah,
on.
a
And
great time.
I definitely look forward to having you back on.
Thank you, Ryochi. I would love that.
Yes,
Thank you
we'll
again for asking
definitely
me on.
stay in touch.
I will.
And
You
if you know
too.
any actors that you know, please send them my way.
I will. I will. I know many. Actually, I know a lot. Do you want me just to have them message you?
Yeah, you can send them to me.
Okay, sounds good. You got
Well,
it.
thank you again for coming on.
Welcome.
I'll
Anytime.
talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks again.
You're welcome.